This ugly creature scared the crap out of me, and I want to shame it all over the internet. And it doesn't matter that it played the role in Dune, or maybe it was his brother. Who would have thought that something so creepy and disgusting lives in the beautiful ocean? And it's not even Squidward, and not a booty fish. Get comfortable and check your oxygen tank. Now we're going deep into the ocean to meet the guy who would keep the whole Bikini Bottom in fear. No, not like that. He'd make a Krabby Patty from Bikini Bottom. I want to introduce you to a sea worm, which is called a bobbit, sand striker, or Eunice Aphroditeus. It's ironic that the scientific name refers to Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, and this creature would hardly take the prize for the most beautiful face. Bobbit is a deep-sea worm which was 100% inspired by Frank Herbert, the creator of a series of books which were also made into films with the handsome Timothée Chalamet. Our hero, or as it is called underwater, a bristly cyborg killer, has powerful jaws, sharp teeth, phenomenal speed, as well as poison that paralyzes even huge fish. It's not capable of swallowing a person, but if you lose weight before the summer, then it can probably work out. But even its usual bite won't definitely be pleasant if, of course, you're not turned on by the pain. These amazing creatures, which are sure to visit you in night terrors, have lived on Earth for more than 400 million years. During this time, these retirees have perfectly mastered the art of hunting, so meeting them is always the last for many ocean dwellers. The bobbit worm lives in all the oceans of the Earth, but the most favorite resort of this bristly killer is the coral reefs near Australia. Agree, it is not at all surprising that the monster gravitates to Australia, where its brothers, sisters, and colleagues in the horror business live. Bobbit just seems small. In fact, it can grow up to 3 meters in length. It is a representative of polychaete worms. All species of this order have tentacles and a segmented body, which can include up to 1,500 segments. These are powerful muscles attached to its bristles that give its body speed when Bobbit is out hunting. In addition, the bristles also serve as anchors in the sand, due to which the worm holds firmly to the environment, and it is almost impossible to get it from the hole. Having all these segments is useful for 2 reasons. Firstly, the bobbit can shed them if a predator grabs it, and secondly, the detached segments can act as genitalia. More on that later. First, ask your parents if you can see it. During the day, the worm hides its long body in the seabed and waits for prey, exposing its antenna. A sandworm can see almost nothing, but its antenna uses light and chemical receptors that react to anything it might eat. As soon as the prey is nearby, the bobbit jumps out of the hole at a speed of 6 meters per second, grabs the victim, and drags it into its hole. At night, it becomes bolder and goes hunting with its whole body. As if its sharp jaws weren't enough, it also uses poisonous toxins to paralyze, kill, and then digest its prey. However, fish do not always give up without a fight. There have been recorded cases of them attacking a worm by blowing water on it until it retreats into its hole. Of course, this is an exception, and such brave fish do not live long. Our bad boy has such a terrible reputation that it's believed to have been nicknamed Bobbit after Lorena Bobbitt. This woman became famous in the 90s for cutting off her abusive husband's penis. The origin of their nickname may be an urban myth, but the cutting power of their lower jaw is oh so real. Having eaten and done evil, the worm takes care that someone will continue his noble work. It has been observed that during puberty, these worms tear themselves into 2 parts. Like many other types of bristleworms, our hero can also reproduce asexually, dividing into several segments and then regenerating and growing a head or tail. No one knows exactly how mating occurs, but you can learn about it by studying their closest relatives. Most likely, the female throws unfertilized eggs into the water, and the male fertilizes them when they have time and mood. Most of these worms live on the bottom of the ocean at a depth of 10 to 40 meters, so you're unlikely to step on one on the beach. But if you have a saltwater aquarium at home, you can accidentally bring Bobbit home. And then God bless you and your fish. Sometimes these worms find shelter in ocean rocks or in the water used to fill saltwater aquariums. When Bobbit is young, it's hard to see, and it eats everything that falls into the water. Corals, animal remains, and those unfortunate dudes in the leaky bathyscaphe. Bobbit is like that cockroach. No matter what you feed it, it gets bigger and bigger. A similar story happened in the Blue Reef Aquarium, Newquay, in England. Dead fish, torn in half, began to be found in the aquarium every morning. Workers set traps overnight to detect the predator, only to find in the morning that the traps were in the same condition as the fish. To save the remaining inhabitants, the aquarium was completely drained. It was then that the workers found a 1.5 meter long worm sitting in the sand and waiting for prey. The killer was not punished. Instead, it was given the name Barry, forced into a separate aquarium where it lived for years and enjoyed its popularity. Bobbits' lifespans are short, from 3 to 5 years, but this is enough to grow a 3-meter body and continue the family. They usually die of old age because it's almost impossible to kill. Literally impossible. Of course, no scientist in his right mind would conduct experiments on this defenseless angelic creature, but the worm's ability to survive has been documented on one aquaculture hobbyist forum. Yes, such forums exist. Somehow, a man accidentally became the owner of Bobbit. He had an aquarium with fish and stony coral, and one night he heard someone eating the coral like it was crackers or chips. The man was not too imbued with love for the new pet, so he decided to get rid of it by his own methods. He tried to poison it, capture it, or kill Bobbit. He poured poison, copper compounds into the water, fed it with broken glass and hooks. But instead of dying, the worm only grew in size and demanded even more poison, glue, and broken glass. Eventually, the worm was caught and placed in the city's aquarium, where children and adults could watch it. The worm spent the rest of its days as a living exhibit, and then was preserved in formaldehyde and handed over to science. Eternal tribute to the immortal Bobbit, lover of glass and poison. There are still a lot of creatures in the world which would literally give you chills, so next time I'll tell you about someone even more creepy, but amazing, like everything that lives on our planet. Thank you for listening to the story of Bobbit, a wonderful and incredible worm. Bobbit and I would appreciate it if you could give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Just look at how handsome it is.